In this video we study sequences, and we'll begin by just finding the next term in a sequence. No need to take this into your notes, it's just to give you an idea of things to look out for. The notes will come later on. So the first question, we've got 4, 7, 10 and 13, and you're trying to see a pattern between those numbers to generate the next term in the sequence. I can spot that consistently you're adding 3 each time. A sequence that goes up by the same amount each time, or equal steps each time, is called a linear sequence. If you were to plot those numbers, you would get a straight line, or sometimes what would be called a linear line. So the next term in that sequence would be 3 more than 13, which is 16. That's the most common type of sequence that you will work with, a linear sequence. Not all sequences will be linear, and you might have to look out for different rules. If we add here, if we go from 2 to 6, we'd have to add 4. To go from 6 to 18, if we add 4, we should get 10. So this sequence is not linear. We need to see another relationship between the numbers. In this case, to get from 2 to 6, you times by 3. To get from 6 to 18, you times it by 3. And to get from 18 to 54, you times it by 3. So if we continue that pattern on, 54 times 3 would be 162. And then in the last sequence, we're adding 2, but adding 2 doesn't work here, adding 2 doesn't work here. To get from 3 to 5, you have to multiply it by 5/3, but 5 times 5/3 doesn't give you 9, and that pattern doesn't work. So it's not a multiplication, and it's not adding the same number. So something else to look out for is maybe, if you notice, you're adding on 2, then you're adding on 4, and then you're adding on 6. So there's a pattern, it's just not a linear pattern. Next term you'd be adding on 8. So your answer would be 23. So there are a few different things to look out for. Maybe it could be a division as well from each term to the next one, or a subtraction as well. Now we're going to study linear sequences in more detail and find the nth term of a linear sequence. So number 1, we have to find the nth term of the sequence 5, 9, 13, 17. This is a linear sequence. We know this by the fact that it goes up an equal number each time. And that's the first thing you would spot. It's gone up by 4 each time. The nth term is basically asking you what's the rule to generate any term. So the way to approach this is having it in a table. You could have a table going down the way or across the way. This one's going to go across the way. So n stands for the term number. So the first term in this sequence is 5. N is 1. When n is 1, the sequence is 5. The second term, when n is 2, the answer is 9. When n is 3, the answer is 13. And when n is 4, the answer is 17. The nth term is trying to generate a rule from the term number to the number in the sequence, to the answer. So how do you get from 1 to 5, 2 to 9, 3 to 13, and 4 to 17? Now, we know to get to the next term, the rule to get the next term is plus 4, but you don't add 4 to n, that wouldn't work. But the 4 is important. When things go up in 4s, if I can try and keep it simple, when things go up in 4s, the first thing you learn that goes up in 4s in primary school would be the 4 times tables. So if I write them just below, the 4 times tables would be 4, 8, 12, 16. Now, we need to describe this in algebra. So what's the connection between the 4 times tables and n? N goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 4 times table is 4, 8, 12, 16. The connection between n and the 4 times tables is it's 4 times n. So if n is 1, the first answer is 4. So that's 4 times 1. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. So what I'm saying there is that the 4 times tables can be described in algebra as 4n. If n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4n would be 4, 8, 12, 16. And that's really useful because we can compare 4n to the sequence we have. This sequence is very similar to the 4 times tables. It also goes up in 4s, but it's 1 larger than the 4 times tables each time. So if the 4 times tables is 4n, then the sequence that we're trying to look at is 1 more. It's 4n plus 1. So the nth term is equal to 4n plus 1. Sometimes, very rarely in GCSE, but at a higher level, we call the nth term un. That's also a way it can be written, just in case you see that somewhere. If we move on then to question 2, question 2 says find the 50th term of the sequence, and this will show you why the nth term is useful. We know the next term is adding on 4, that's how we get that, so we can get the 5th term would be 21, but you wouldn't want to keep going and going and going to get to the 50th term. You'd want a quicker way of doing that, and the way to do that is using the nth term rule. So the 50th term is equal to, and then the rule is 4n plus 1, so you do 4 times n, which is the term number. In this case it's the 50th term, and then you can add on 1, and that gets you 201. So the nth term is a really quick way to get or to generate any term in a sequence. Question number 3 then, is 97 a term in the sequence? So if we continue the pattern, 5, 9, 13, 17 and so on, would we get 97 along the way? Again, we wouldn't want to keep counting. We'd want to use the nth term to be a bit quicker. If 97 is in the sequence, you should be able to substitute it into that formula. For example, don't need to write this down, but if we take 17, we know 17 is in the sequence, so we could say 17 equals 4n plus 1, and we should be able to find out what term it is by solving that. So if we take 1 off both sides, we get 4n equals 16 and n equals 4. That tells you that 17, because we substituted it into the formula for nth term, it tells us that 17 is the 4th term, and so it is. 17 is the 4th term. So we want to do the same idea for 97 to see what term it is. So we would write down 97 equals 4n plus 1. Take 1 off both sides to get 4n equals 96. And then when you divide 96 by 4, you end up with 24. So that tells you, yes, it is in the sequence, and it's going to be the 24th term. Now I'll just do another example of something that doesn't work. You don't need to write this one down either. Just put it down here. If I asked you, is 78 in this sequence? You could say, well, 78 should be equal to 4n plus 1. So 4n would equal 77. And you can see, because 77 is an odd number, it's not going to work. You divide 3 by 4, you get 19.25. Now you can't get a 19.25th term. You have a 19th term, you have a 20th term. So that tells you that this term the number 78 would be between two terms. It would be between the 19th and 20th term, but it's not actually in the sequence, so it doesn't work. If you could also include in your notes just a wee extra, it's useful for proofs later on, and we've done a little bit of it with M4. If we look at the sequence 2n, 2n would give you 2 times 1 is 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. So 2n is the even numbers. It represents the even numbers. And then if you have 2n minus 1, that would be the same sequence as above, only one less. So it's 1, 3, 5, 7. And that represents the odd numbers. That will be useful for proof questions later on in the year, where they talk to you about proving something about all odd numbers. And if you try to prove something about all odd numbers, you'd use this for your odd numbers. But as I say, we'll go into that in more detail later on in the year. That's all for your notes. I'm going to do 2 more examples, just harder ones to get you the swing of things, and to reiterate the rule that we started off with up here. If you're really happy with it, you can turn this off now. But if you want to maybe just recap over that rule, then you can listen for another couple of minutes. Okay, so here we have 4, 10, 16, 20, 24, 22. And we have to find the nth term. That's what we're recapping. Step 1 is to spot the pattern. So up in sixes, like the 6 times tables. The 6 times tables would be 6, 12, 18, 24. That's called 6n. Remember, n is a term number. So first term, 6 times bigger, so 6n. Second term, 6 2s are 12. Third term, 3 6s, 18, and so on. So 6n is the 6 times tables, which is very similar to this sequence because it goes up in sixes too, but it's 2 less than the 6 times tables. So if the 6 times tables is 6n, then this sequence is 2 less. It would be 6n take away 2. And finally, let's look at 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Well, this sequence goes down by 2 each time. The 2 times tables goes up by 2. So we want the negative 2 times tables, because we want to get from 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want the times tables to go down by 2 each time. So 1 times minus 2 would be minus 2. 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. Minus 6, minus 8, minus 10. They're the negative 2 times tables, or negative 2 times the term number. Then we need to think, what's the connection between these two? Both sequences go down by 2. That's how you get the next term. But what's the link between minus 2n and this one here? Well, to get from minus 2 to 10, you'd have to add 12. To get from minus 4 to 8, you'd have to add 12. And you can just check it for all of them, but it should be the same each time. To get from minus 10 to 2, you have to add 12. So that sequence would be minus 2n plus 12.